What's up, YouTube? So I went to the Trump rally this Saturday and it was interesting to say the least. I got a lot of footage that I want to share with you guys, and I ended up making it inside the rally and I got kicked out. That's right, guys, I got kicked out of the Trump rally. Let's talk about it. Okay, so I went to the Trump rally this Saturday and I got a lot to tell you about it. A lot of interesting footage, a lot of interesting observations. But before we start, can you guys do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, man? I'd really appreciate it. Give me a like. Let me know you like my video. And if you want to, donate to my Patreon account. I'll leave the link in the description below. And also, you can email me. My email address is down below. Give me some suggestions. Talk crap to me. I don't care. I enjoy the conversation. So anyways, back to what I was saying. I went to the Trump rally. And guys, I'll tell you what, it really wasn't all I thought it would be cracked up to be. There wasn't really a lot of people there. Now, there were protests that happens periodically. When I first got there, first thing I noticed was there's a lot of police officers there. That's right, there's a lot of police officers and National Guard, state troopers from all over the surrounding areas in Tulsa. And whenever I got there, I walked down the street, I made it there, I met a lot of Christian people, a lot of Trump supporters, abolitionists. I met some Black Lives Matter people. And whenever I first got there, I'm not going to lie, around one of the gates, because there was 3 gates, one of them got shut down because of protests. Now, the gate that I was at was certainly open. There was like a mob of Black Lives Matter people and street preachers and stuff down there fighting, and it was pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie, it was very interesting. No punches got thrown or anything like that. But there was a lot of screaming. And what I noticed, the first thing I noticed whenever I was listening to this screaming and listening to people talk and stuff, there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people don't even know what they believe in. I mean, I was asking people questions and they had no clue why they were there. I mean, they just kept mentioning George Floyd and that Black Lives Matter. But whenever you actually tried to engage them, there was no substance to their grievance, okay? They didn't know the full extent of anything that was going on. And what they would do is they would just get in these clashes with Trump supporters and scream at them, and then the Trump supporters would scream back at them that they were paid by Soros, and the Black Lives Matter people would call them racist bigots. And I mean, they were just screaming and hollering at each other, and it just wasn't very, there wasn't anything being accomplished as far as like the dialogue is concerned. I mean, we had a street preacher, and you'll see in the video, the street preacher just with a ram's horn, just blowing a ram's horn, telling people that they don't love the black babies, which and saying black babies' lives matter, and I tend to agree, okay? There's the majority of kids that are killed down at the Planned Parenthood place are black babies. I'm not gonna lie, and I mean, there's some validity to what that guy is saying. However, it just wasn't helpful the way he was doing. I mean, he was just screaming at these people, and he wasn't explaining to them what he meant. Also, one of my observations was this, that there seemed to be a lot of white teenagers there, and they were the loudest of all of them. They would just scream and holler, and there was only a handful of black people there. There wasn't even that many black people with the Black Lives Matter protests. It was all a bunch of white folks. A bunch of white, teenage, probably progressive, like far left liberals. There was a gentleman there, and I will show him in these clips right now. Okay, so this guy right here was the loudest, most obnoxious person I've ever encountered out at one of these protests. He was screaming at people. He wouldn't let anybody have a civil dialogue. Now, in one of the clips, you'll see that there was a Trump supporter with a black girl with the Black Lives Matter clique, or whatever you want to call them, and they were having pretty much a civil discussion about what was going on. And you'll immediately notice that the white guy did not like that. He ran up and started screaming in this Trump supporter's face as loud as he could. I mean, the veins were just pulsating out of his neck. He looked like a meme, and he was just screaming as loud as he could at this Trump supporter. Not only that, he did that to actually the street preacher as well, and several other conversations that I've seen that were pretty civil. He would just run in like he had an agenda, or he was some kind of provocateur, or he might have just been showing off for his girlfriend that was there. I don't know, but the guy, it was strange because the guy looked like, if we were making a judgment by his appearance, he was a middle-aged man, a white male, and he seemed like he should be on the other side, but this guy was definitely causing and stirring the pot as far as people fighting and restricting people's speech to each other. And I mean, it just wasn't constructive. I don't know why the guy was there. I don't know. But I mean, it was something that I observed, and I thought maybe there was something to that. Now, this is the thing. Another observation that I had was that the police were generally nice. They were letting people into the event. Sure, there was 3 locations. However, they had to shut one down, and so there was only 2 ways into the rally. Now, after I sat out there for a little bit, I decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can't get in this rally. Now, there was over 1 million people that RSVP'd to this thing. I wasn't actually going to go in. I had RSVP'd. I was going to go in. However, whenever I seen the numbers get up to about 350,000, I was like, ain't going to happen. You're not going to get in because the BOK Center only holds 18,000 people. All right. So they weren't restricting. They were not restricting people from getting inside. Now I'll come back to that point later. Now, whenever I walked inside, I was like, I'm just going to try to get in here. I walked inside. There was a long gate, and there wasn't very many people coming in. Okay, there was 20 different slots in this gate. There was a nurse in each single slot, and they were taking temperatures, and a lot of them looked bored. I'm not gonna lie. I walked inside, I took a left, I went to the security checkpoint. Those guys were really nice. They checked my bag, made me take a picture of the ground with my cameras, make sure my cameras were functional and that I wasn't hiding anything in them or something like that, which is understandable. I went through, and whenever I went through, I noticed that there was not very many people walking to the event. It was like a no man's land. There was a couple of stragglers running with me. They ended up giving me a free thing of hand sanitizer, a free mask. They offered me a bottle of water. They were super generous and super polite, and they seemed like they were concerned about the COVID-19 thing, okay? I didn't think I was going to get into the BOK Center, but I figured I can get in the overflood area. I walked through all the little zigzags and everything to get in there where the overflow area was. They were taking it down. I was like, dang, I'm going to try to get into this convention. So I did. I went in there, I tried to get in the convention, and I made it in the convention. And one of the first things I noticed while I was in there was there wasn't a whole lot of people there. Now, that has been the topic of discussion since then. Liberal media is saying that, it was a dud, that there's not very much support for President Trump. And I don't know if that's true or not, but there was definitely not that many people there. The place holds 18,000 people. Like I said, there was only 7,000 people in there. Okay, there were so many empty seats. And I was like, wow, I figured this place would be packed. Now, I don't know why it wasn't packed. Okay, AOC and a lot of people are saying that there was a TikTok group that all these teenagers coordinated with each other and RSVP'd to pump up the numbers. And I think that, and they say that that's what caused it, not very many people to show up. I think there might be some legitimacy to that claim. Okay, the reason being is because, like I said, whenever it hit 350,000, I got the text. It was like 350,000 people are planning to show up. I was like, there's no way I'm getting into this, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to sit on the outside and videotape the protesters, okay? And I think that was probably the general idea, because there was people at my work that were interested in going too, but once they seen the numbers, they canceled it out as well. And also I want to point out one thing. Fox News came out with a report, and I'll see if I can find it or not. I'll post it on this video, but Fox News came out with a report saying that there wasn't very many people there because of protests. I will tell you right now, the protests weren't that much. There weren't that many protests. Okay, I just don't think that that claim is going to hold water. There just wasn't very many people there. There was nobody restricting anybody from going inside. Okay, now there was and I think Fox News might be doing a little bit of fake news themselves, because anybody can see, and Fox News had a booth set up right by where I was where the protests were, and they saw it. There was nobody restricting anybody. Now, maybe there was a lot of discouragement because everybody thought, there was news reports coming out on the radio saying that if you're white, don't come to Tulsa, don't come downtown, this might have been a liberal propaganda machine to try, or propaganda effort to try to keep people from actually going and showing up. They were literally saying, white people, do not come downtown. You will be in danger. This was on the radio. But the protests, there was hardly any protesters. Also, there was a story that came out right beforehand. This is the weird thing about media pumping stuff up. There was a story that came out beforehand saying a security guard shot and killed a black man who was a Trump supporter and who had RSVP'd to go to the Trump event. Okay, this was put out like just a couple of, like that morning. And I mean, I think even that, either one, it was meant to gear up and flame the fire of protests, or maybe start a riot, or maybe discourage white people or whoever, Trump supporters, from going down there. Because I mean, there was a general like feeling that this thing was going to be a war zone. I mean, I brought goggles and milk. I thought I was going to get pepperballed or whatever, but it really wasn't all that bad. Now, how I got kicked out. I was around the rafters after I made that first observation, and I saw the floor, and I was like, there wasn't very many people on the floor, so I was like, man, I got to get down there. I can get down there and get a really good shot. And so I noticed that there was a man as security guard down at the end letting people in and out of the floor. So I decided to go down there. When I went down there, I asked the guy, I said, can I come down here? He said, no, floor's closed. I said, well, will it open up? He said, I don't know. They just told me that the floor's closed. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I noticed there was another cameraman there, and I decided, well, if he can film here, I can film here too. So I just started filming right there. It was a good shot. It was a good opportunity, and I could hear everything. And I was able to film a lot of stuff. Anyways, I sat there and filmed for probably about 30 minutes. I filmed Diamond and Silk. I filmed, a lot of I filmed that whole speech, and I'll leave their whole shindig at the end of this video, so you guys can go ahead and watch it if you're interested in Diamond and Silk and what they had to say, because I got their whole speech on film. Now, whenever they brought, I think Lord Trump out, Donald Trump's daughter, I believe that's her name. The guy said, hey, you can go ahead and go down. Please don't tell anybody that I let you down here, but you guys have been waiting for a long time. I'm going to let you go ahead and go down there. So me and that camera guy, we decided to go through along with another guy, and I talked to him. I said, man, I was like, this is awesome. He said, yeah, persistence. I was like, okay, cool. And that guy was gone into the crowd. I mean, he like shot right down the crowd and was like, he was underneath, and he was on a mission. I was trying to hang back in the back and just film from where I was. A guy tapped me on the shoulder, said, hey man, you can't be down here with those backpacks and all the professional gear without a press pass. I said, why not? I tried to concede to some of what he was saying. I tried to figure out some kind of middle ground. He was not having it. He said that I started being non-compliant. I was like, hey man, no, I'm not trying to be non-compliant. I'm going to go back to where I was. So I went back to where I was. I filmed for a little bit, and then they brought that guy that I went down there with up to where I was, and they told me, they said, man, you can't be on these stairs filming. I said, okay, cool. And so I moved over. I asked him, I said, can I sit over here? He said, yeah, go ahead and sit over here. And so I did, and then that guy came up with the other guy that was filming, and he pretty much said, listen, you guys aren't welcome here. This is a private event, and the campaign wants you to leave. I asked them why. They said, I don't know. They just something about the way you're not acting right or something, and we have to leave. And I can honestly say I was not hostile. I was persistent to the point, because I was there to actually film. I wasn't there really to participate in the campaign. And so, I was trying to get good shots, and I guess they didn't like that. Now, whenever they let us out, there was other people being brought out as well. And me and that other guy, we decided to go ahead and film and ask and interview one of the people that came out, and I'll show you that clip right now.
So why'd you get kicked out again?
I got kicked out because, at least what the security told me, they said I was no longer welcome at the private event. And I asked why, and he said, well, you're probably not clapping or cheering enough.
Really?
Like that.
Wow.
Oh, you were a Trump supporter?
No, I was just sitting there. I was going to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I wasn't like agitating.
Hey!
Can we ask y'all a question?
They were kicked out for being QAnon, I think. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Too annoying?
QAnon. Q.
Oh.
Some weird conspiracy theory.
Oh, okay. Q the conspiracy.
Yeah, what are y'all with?
I run a podcast, and I just came down here just to see what was up,
And they kicked out for the cameras?
Basically.
Basically, they kicked us out because we weren't participating like you. But also because they said we have bags and that's not allowed.
Yeah.
But I think that was just.
I can't believe that, man. I wasn't, yelling or anything. I was literally just sitting quiet.
What? Just watching.
Just watching.
See, that's like, yeah. You just wanted to see what was going on,
I was just watching.
Okay.
I wasn't cheering. I guess they saw me. They decided to kick me out.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, because that's basically what. Because that's what they told me is like they don't like what you're doing, and you have like all this gear, and you don't have a proper press pass. So that's where you gotta go.
Yeah.
But basically, the impression that I got from him was that they didn't appreciate me being there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of sad.
Because I wasn't like all rah and shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're there to kind of, document. You're not. Yeah. I'm not there to participate.
I'm there. I mean, if it wasn't for me being a photojournalist and being here to document this, I wouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
It's not.
I just came here from Dallas.
Really?
Yeah.
You came all the way from Dallas, huh?
Yeah.
That's sad, man.
I just kind of wanted to,
see
the man,
Yeah.
See the man.
That's it?
I guess not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I hate it.
I have no idea where the hell I am now. I think I can go over that bridge and get back.
Okay, so what the guy did, I mean, from what that kid said, I'm going to tell you, his demeanor was peaceful. I know he looks like some kind of Antifa kid with the black skinny pants, judging from an outward appearance, and especially the other guy, they look like they might be far left liberal Antifa folks. I don't know. I know I wasn't there to start up any trouble. I was just there to film because the President of the United States was there. I thought it was pretty cool. And I want to get on film and share it with you guys. Now, the kid told me that the security guard told him that he wasn't participating, that he wasn't clapping or something enough. And I mean, that kind of made me sad because the kid said he drove all the way from Dallas. There was another group of people that walked by. They were all in Trump gear. And I was like, why'd they kick them out? I mean, were they being did they participate too much? But I noticed that they had Q signs. Maybe Trump's trying to disassociate himself with that conspiracy theory. I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on all that stuff. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it. After walking with that guy that I got kicked out with for a little bit, his name's Mike. Very nice guy. Super smart. Super intelligent. He told me he had a blog or like he was a private journalist, and he had like a blog or a Facebook and Instagram, and it was called The Black Pack Journalist. He said he crowdfunded to go down there, and I noticed he was a hardcore socialist. I could tell he was a leftist right away. He was talking about Chaz because he's from Seattle, and that conservatives are lying about a lot of that stuff. I don't know. I really don't care. The guy was nice. It was awesome to meet him. And then I noticed that there was a Black Lives Matter protest. I filmed it a little bit. Yes, they were blocking traffic a little bit, but they were flowing through the crowd. It was like a march. And that was pretty much the end of my Trump experience. Okay, my Trump rally experience. Now, one thing I want to cover right quick. Whenever and I forgot about this observation, man. Conservative politicians, man, they pander to evangelicals the way that the left panders to the black vote. And it was really disturbing because the whole time that I was in that rally, they made an emphasis to mention God. They made an emphasis to mention being pro-life and this, that, and the other. And man, it just was not authentic whatsoever. And I know that there's probably some Christians that are going to hear this, and it's probably going to upset them. And I'm sorry, but I just do not find Trump as a evangelical Christian. I don't think he's ever repented for anything in his life. I don't think he understands the full gospel, and I don't think he's ever even cared. I think the only reason that perhaps maybe Pence got the VP spot is to attract the evangelical vote because it's very, very obvious that they pandered towards evangelicals, which is, I guess it's a good thing, but it's not authentic. The reason it's not authentic is because Trump had his chance to defund Planned Parenthood. He had a chance to end like any government or our tax dollars going to Planned Parenthood, but he signed the budget. All he had to do is put his foot down and say, look, I'm not signing this budget until you guys take every single thing, every tax dollar away from Planned Parenthood. And it would have squashed it. Now, he throws them a bone every now and then, but I'm starting to realize that conservatives have no interest in ending or abolishing abortion whatsoever. The reason being is because that is the line that is drawn right there. That's the line. That's why I can never vote for a Democrat. It keeps evangelicals from voting anything liberal. And so it's in the conservative party's or the Republican Party's interest to keep that bone there, to keep that line drawn. They're never, I seriously believe this, that because the evangelical voter base is so stinking huge that they will never do it, because then people might look to vote Democrat if they're evangelicals. And that's why I think the Democratic Party attacks Christians and evangelicals, and why they target their children and stuff to kill that voter base, because it's such a large voter base. And I just never think that I don't think abortion's ever going to be abolished. I don't think that any conservative politician actually cares about it, simply because they don't want to lose that red line that evangelicals can't cross. I don't believe in socialism. I think the first people that get the axe during a socialist revolution or anything regarding socialists are Christian evangelicals. They end up dying. They end up killing them in mass because they don't bow to a government. And you can see it, and it's pretty apparent in the founding documents. Our founding fathers, they limited government. They wanted limited government. They wanted a gridlock in the system so that it would hinder government from opposing certain things on our lives. Anyways, that's just kind of what I took away from this Trump rally. It was hot, and it was kind of depressing because people are confused. I don't think people actually know what they're really doing. I think they don't know what they're arguing about. I think they just see a group of people. They're like, hey, let's buck up some crap and let's party and scream at each other. But that's just me. But anyways, guys, hey, I hope you like this video. Like I said before, please subscribe to this channel. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like it, donate to the Patreon account, write me in my Gmail account down in the link in the description below. Man, I really appreciate you guys for watching this, and man, y'all are witnessing something. God bless you, and God bless your family. Here's Diamond and Silk.
To the flag of the United States of America. None of communism, none of socialism, none of a new world order, but the United States of America. This is America. And there's those out there to seek to destroy America, but America will stand. America will stand. Yeah, we have constitutional law. We don't go by Sharia law or vigilante laws. Constitutional laws. We are one race, and that's the human people want to destroy our country and our very existence. I don't understand it, but I'm here to tell you that we stand for America, and we stand for freedom. And if you have a problem with the United States of America, you can leave. You can go north, south, east, or west, but you can go. And let me tell you how I know my Black life matters. Because President Trump made sure that Black unemployment was at an all-time low. Let me tell you how I know my Black life matters. He made sure that HBCUs was funded. He's giving more money than any president in the history.
All you have to do is get a green pass, I would have let you through.
President Trump is not a racist. He's a realist, and the only color he sees is green. And he wants you to have some of it.
Maybe next time. You go to all of them?
And leave the statues and the monuments alone. They can't feed you, they can't clothe you, and they can't give you a job.
I live there.
And for all of the protesters that's pumping your fist in the streets, you take that same hand, and you go vote for Donald J. Trump.
That'll be sweet. I could go home with one.
I'm looking forward to playing with that.
Now, to old Jim Crow Joe,
I'm lucky they paid for
who
all that.
ain't done nothing for America, who ain't done nothing for Black lives but called them predators and pushed a crime bill.
Glad you
Oh,
guys
Joe, it's time for Jim Crow Joe to come out of the basement because we're Black and we Black enough.
I was his escort for the whole day long time Max Lout. You know Max Lout, then, don't you? He's like the head of the RNC. Yeah.
I don't know if you know the politics.
I didn't either.
I heard
I
that you
Googled him
said
because I
he
didn't
wanted
know
to
who he
take
was.
Trump behind back. We need you to come out the basement up front.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
And here's the deal, Jim Crow Joe. You can run, but you can't hide. Now, back in 2016, President Trump said, what in the hell do you have to lose? And he was talking to Black America. And let me tell you something, all Americans, I don't care whether you Black, white, pinstripe, polka dot, or plaid. If President Trump is not re-elected, we gon' all have a hell of a lot to lose. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to vote red. R-E-D. Remove every Democrat. title, King